Chris.
Hi.
I'm Chris.
I know, I've seen you. It's nice to see you again.
You've played with dinosaurs, you've played with aliens, and now you're playing with robots. So you're becoming a generational reference to so many young moviegoers. So I wanted to ask you, who was that actor? Who was that reference for you while growing up?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm a big fan of Indiana Jones, so Harrison Ford. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was, Sly Stallone. Those guys, as a child of the 90s, I really loved those types of movies like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal and all of these sort of action heroes, Bruce Willis. When it comes to like action adventure, God, I guess it would probably be... the main one would be Harrison Ford because of Star Wars.
Giancarlo, you've played such iconic villains through your career, and I wanted to ask you about the things you've learned about evilness and how has that thing changed through the characters you've portrayed.
This is a special character for me because it's different. He has a revelation. And I want to be a human being who lives his life that at some point I have many revelations that the thinking that I thought was me. I have the saying, you're not who you think you are. We get up, we look in the mirror, we do our thing, and people tell us we're great and all these things. And at some point, whether you know it or not, it seeps in and you think you're that. You know what I mean? Which is the joke of it, like of being an actor. Like, I think I'm that, but I'm not that. And because I say I'm not that, some part of me goes, well, that diminishes you. You're more important if you're this or that or the other. It actually expands you, and so for me, this was a really important character for me to play because to let go of all the things that I've learned and to find the depth of the over self that really is me is beyond and outside of ego. It's in spirit and soul.
Of course, this is not your first time working with the Russo's brothers. So I was wondering, is there something you learned working with them for the first time that somehow made it to now in the electric state?
Yes, yeah. Their freedom and their openness to collaboration was really refreshing. I remember when we were doing the Avengers, Marcus and McFeely and the Russos had me come in and look at some of the pages and read through it. And they said, what do you think? And I said, that's great. And they said, well, do you have any ideas? And I became essentially an unofficial writer on the project for my stuff. Not like, just like helping to shape my scenes and the scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And so they're really open to it. And they have this idea and this approach where the best idea wins. And so that's really nice. And I have worked with a multitude of collaborative directors, but that was something that really stood out to me. And I felt like this film gave me the real freedom to just take ownership over the character, who he is, what he looks like, what he sounds like, what he says, the things he's into, the memorabilia of the jokes. I mean, a lot of it felt like a giant improv session. And so that was great. And the fact that they're open to that was really wonderful.
Your character says that he may not be into robots, but he loves technology. So what's your position regarding today's technological advances, especially artificial intelligence?
I think for certain things, for medicine, artificial intelligence is incredible. From what I've read, the little that I've read, and knowing some doctors and scientists, I think it's amazing.
Ultimately, the intention of mankind will be reflected in the advancements in technology. And so on one hand, I'm optimistic, and on the other hand, I'm scared. We have to be mindful of who's given authority over these elements, because every great technological advance runs the risk of being a tool for good or a weapon for war. And I feel optimistic at just the positive aspects of it.
Thank you so much for your time, Chris. It was a pleasure
nice to talk to you, Chris.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.